Hi, good morning, everyone. We're just waiting for a few more of our guests to log on to today's presentation, and we'll get started in just a few minutes. Okay, so hello and good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for attending today's presentation on Experience by Ingleside. We're so very thankful that you could join us today to learn about one of Ingleside's newest services in the market in Maryland, Virginia, and DC. Uh, let's see if I can get to the next slide here. So just quickly, my name is Kristen Shanks. I am Ingleside's Vice President of Sales. I've been with the organization for 15 years, coming up almost 16 years. And so welcome. And I know most of you, you're probably fully proficient in Zoom at this point, but for those who would like a reminder, you're going to have two ways to ask questions today. You can raise your hand with the little hand icon, and we can call on you and answer your question. You'll want to unmute yourself to ask that question. The other option, and probably the most popular option that most people choose, is that you'll put your question in the Q&A box. So that's the icon next to the little hand. And we will read through the questions at the end of the presentation. We'll have a Q&A portion. We will hold questions to the end of the presentation. So even if you want to like speak up and raise your hand, please wait till the end, just so that everybody can, if someone comes onto the presentation late, they're able to hear your questions, so that we're all together. And even though we're doing a virtual presentation today, we're doing that because we are reaching out to our Virginia, Maryland, and DC markets. We are also more than happy to meet with you on site at one of our life plan communities as well. So I'm happy to have you join us on one of our campuses. So before we go straight into Experience by Ingleside, I thought because we have people on the call who maybe have never heard of our communities or our organization, I just wanted to give you kind of a quick overview of Ingleside as an organization. So Ingleside actually began in 1906 as the Presbyterian home in the District of Columbia. And the mission in 1906 was to care for the members of the church who either had no family or resources. And obviously, over the last century, Ingleside has changed quite a bit since where we started over 100 years ago. We now currently manage three CARF accredited communities, life plan communities in the DMV. We have Ingleside at Rock Creek in Washington, D.C. We have Westminster at Lake Ridge in Lake Ridge, Virginia, and we have Ingleside at King Farm, which is in the residential community of King Farm, located in Rockville, Maryland. These life plan communities have access to all levels of care. You may be familiar with the concept of continuing care retirement community. Same thing, a life plan community is just a new name. But all of our communities have independent living, assisted living, memory support assisted living, and skilled nursing all on one campus. And so the beauty of communities like ours are that you can move on campus, and regardless of where your health goes in the future, you have somewhere to live comfortably. Additionally, Ingleside does have a few other services that we provide with on campus and within the greater market. We have a home care company called Ingleside at Home, which provides home care services. So even if you're in your home and you would like to have help, but not actually move into an assisted living or a memory support, you can actually hire Ingleside at Home to come into your home and provide help with activities of daily living and light housekeeping, travel, or not travel, but maybe transportation to a doctor's appointment. We also have Ingleside Engaged. That's a really amazing social day program for those who have neurocognitive impairment. So we know that there are 16 million caregivers in the US who are caring for individuals who have neurocognitive impairment. So the beauty of a social day program is not even the members who attend, who get fulfilling programming, arts, music, lectures, they're benefiting, but so are their loved ones, and the caregivers can get a respite even for just a couple hours a day. And one of the big benefits I would say for our communities is that, as I mentioned, started in 1906. We started through the Presbyterian Church. Because of that, we are a not-for-profit. So we actually have a foundation on our campus called the Westminster Ingleside Foundation. This foundation cares for our residents who outlive their resources. The full role of our foundation is to raise funds so that if anybody living on our campus starts to run out of money, we can cover them financially. So regardless of health and finances, once you enter Ingleside, you can be taken care of. And now we are excited to tell you about Experience by Ingleside. This is kind of the newest member of the Ingleside family. Started probably about 2 years ago, I think, is when we launched in 2023. So obviously a baby compared from where we started in 1906. But before we start, I thought what I would do is just show you a quick video on the product. It's a really great high-level overview of what Experience by Ingleside is, and then we'll delve a little deeper after the video.
Meet Mary and her family. Mary has lived in her home since it was built. Her kids took their first steps in it, made memories in it, and as they grew up, they helped keep it running. Mary's kids are grown now, and they have homes of their own. They all help when they can, but not like when they lived at home. Mary loves her home, and with all the memories that Mary's family has made in this house, she wants her grandkids to love it too. Now that Mary is retired, she wants to use her time her way. That doesn't mean climbing ladders to clean her gutters, weeding her garden in the summer heat, scrubbing her bathroom floors every week, or grooming Spot, her dog. But Mary and her family have trouble finding services they trust in her home that arrive on time, every time, and deliver value and quality. That's why Mary and her family use Experience by Ingleside to create the perfect home services plan. Everything from lawn care to house cleaning, laundry, dinner, and keeping Spot clean. All Mary has to do is pick what she needs, and her Experience by Ingleside concierge will take care of the rest. Scheduling only trusted, vetted providers, negotiating exclusive rates on her behalf, and sending her a single bill at the end of each month, allowing Mary to get back to what really matters. Use your time the way you want. Trust Experience by Ingleside with the rest.
All right, so as the slide mentions, Experience by Ingleside is a tailored concierge service. What that means is that you're going to have your own personal concierge that can assist you. And yes, this is a real human being. It's not a chat bot that you call up and speak with. And the concierge that works with you, they're going to be able to assist you in helping you create your customized list of services. They help schedule those services, and they coordinate the day of logistics. So with that, I do want to introduce Kat Murphy. So Kat actually leads, and she's on the call today. She leads our Experience by Ingleside concierge service, and she leads the concierge team. So she's actually just one of the friendly voices that you hear on the other end of the phone or that you're responding through emails with. And she has joined us today to answer any questions that come up in the Q&A portion. Of course, I'll ask for some of her guidance through today's presentation as well. But we also have Mikkel Thomas. Mikkel is the Vice President of Client Services with an organization called Dorvey. And Dorvey is the concierge program that Ingleside has partnered with to create Experience by Ingleside. So Dorvey is really kind of the operations of the whole concierge program. And so they're both on the call today because they are obviously the experts in the product and really the operations part of the product. So having them on the call is really beneficial for any questions that you might have. So thank you for joining us, Kat and Mikkel. We're happy to have you today. So let's just talk a little bit about what is Experience by Ingleside. So as you can tell by the slide, it is a personalized concierge home service. It's delivered directly, we say, to wherever you call home, because we do provide this service to those in, obviously we have life plan communities, but we do provide this service to those in the external market. So that would be those individuals who, excuse me, are on today's call, who may not be moving into a life plan community, but would like to feel comfortable within their own home. But you can live in one of our communities and take part in Experience by Ingleside as well. Because although our life plan communities have a lot of amenities on campus, there are some things like pet care that we don't provide as an organization. And so our own residents living on campus benefit from a product like Experience by Ingleside. But the beauty of a program like this is that, as I said before, you have your own concierge, and they help you pick out any of the services that you are interested in. They can even come up with services that perhaps you didn't think of. They schedule those services for you. They deal with day of logistics, and then you receive one consolidated bill at the end of the month. So you're not navigating different vendors' websites, navigating different pricing, paying different bills, figuring out when to pay them. It's all done for you by the concierge, and then you get the one consolidated bill at the end of the month. The slide here talks about some of our, I would say, more popular services that we have. Are there any additional, and Kat would probably know this very well, that people are asking for? I mean, we have house cleaning, meal delivery, pet care, but is there anything that maybe people seem to be asking more for these days that are not on this list?
Sure. I mean, in addition to these services, we do get requests for home decluttering and home organization, to help people clear out whether it's the basement, the closets, or the garage, and sort things out according to whether it's going to be disposed of or donated. So that's become a very popular request. In addition to interior, exterior window cleaning, gutter cleaning. And usually like right in the spring and towards the end of the fall, people like to do a cleanup. And so we do get more landscaping requests at this time of the year, just before winter comes along.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kat.
Mhm.
So, I will say the beauty of a product like Experience by Ingleside is when you look at the list here and you may think to yourself, well, I've got that covered. These are the things I do day in and day out. But with Experience by Ingleside, it really is more than just the expected things. There's always things that come up and you didn't have a plan and you don't know where to start. And so that's kind of what's nice about having a concierge. It's almost like a personal assistant who can help you navigate the things that you weren't expecting. And so with that, I did think it was important that Mikkel kind of highlight some of those services that are coming up, especially with what they call the burr months, the exciting months, September, October, November, December. There are things that you can plan for ahead of time, and Experience by Ingleside can provide this.
Yeah, thank you, Kristen. And you're absolutely right. As the seasons change and we get into those cooler months, before you know it, it's time to switch from, your AC to now turning on the heater or utilizing your fireplace. So having those systems checked, making sure that your chimney, if you do have a wood burning stove or something like that in your home, just making sure that that's clean, that it's safe. Having a chimney sweep come out, we have that service available that they can come out and also inspect to make sure if any repairs are needed as things age. It's hard sometimes to see that year over year until we're actually using that portion of our home or that particular device once it's time to like crank it on again. Same thing with your heating system. If your radiator or any other services, things need to be repaired in your home, checking those to make sure that they're operating safely and at optimal capacity will also help save on heating bills to make sure that everything is insulated properly and all of the things are working. Installing a programmable thermostat is also a good idea because, as you know, with the fluctuating temperatures, it's nice to not have to worry about getting up super early to turn it on. It can be nice and warm for you when you come in or get up in the mornings. Cleaning out gutters as those big trees start to shed their leaves. We know that suddenly your yard can be filled with tons of leaves that need to be raked and gathered and put out to be picked up, or tree trimming, any of those things that need to happen with gutters or outdoor maintenance. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, very important for safety, making sure that they're operating properly. And some of those we recognize may be installed in hard to reach places. So if you have one that maybe you have taller ceilings or it's just not very convenient to get them out of their containers and replace the batteries, make sure they're working properly, we can absolutely have our handyman come out and check everything on this list to make sure we're good to go. Or if it's specifically one thing that you needed, just cleaning gutters or just having someone check your heating system, please feel free to give us a call. Kat and the rest of our concierge team is standing by to help walk you through what that may cost. And we can at least get you the pricing on it so you'll know. And then when you're ready to schedule, we will absolutely do that at your convenience.
Okay.
And then when it comes to home winterization, again, when we get that first snow, that's when a lot of times we start thinking in terms of, oh man, am I prepared for this? Am I ready for, the winter weather? But now's the time to really start to inspect and seal those windows and doors where maybe they've worn a little bit over time since this time last year, checking and insulating attics and walls again for optimal efficiency with your heating bills, making sure gaps and cracks are taken care of, protecting your pipes or any outside drains or faucets that are maybe exposed because we're utilizing them the rest of the year. Also checking the insulation in the floors to ensure that your home is nice and cozy. An emergency kit is something that all of us need to be prepared with in your home as well as even in your vehicle, making sure you have what you need so that you're safe and that you're prepared for anything that could happen. Even if we just get a light dusting of snow or we get a light, layer of ice, that can be very, very dangerous if you're stepping out to check the mail or take your trash out. So being prepared for those things, having some salt and things on hand, having an expert being on the at the ready for snow removal. When we get those calls, and I can tell you, Kat can attest to this too, that when we maybe don't anticipate we're going to have bad weather, we don't really plan for it as well. And then the next thing you know, we've had a snowfall and everyone wants to have their snow removed. Everyone wants to have their driveways cleared and walkways. But as you can imagine, we get overwhelmed with requests when that happens. So the time to plan for that is actually now. Getting in touch with our concierge team to find out, can you get on a route for a snow removal service? Because they can put you on a route so that when this happens, you can be prepared. We can have pricing quoted for you, how much it would cost to clear your particular driveway or walkway or both in the event we have a heavy snow, because they will have very limited availability when we actually have a weather event. So that can apply to your current home, your primary residence here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, or if you live in another area of the country that may even be more subject to weather. it's great to get on these snow routes now. And that way we can prepare in advance to make sure that you're able to get your driveways and walkways cleared when that happens. So think in terms of planning ahead as we get ready for the winter season. When it comes to holiday preparation, here's another one. As everyone is planning for family to either come in hosting for the holidays, this is a great time to plan for home cleaning, to get that deep clean. Maybe after this is your seasonal deep cleaning, you can get your home refreshed, ready for guests, or even if you want to plan for a post hosting cleaning. So if you've been the host, you've had family come through, and now you want to get everything reset and get everything deep cleaned, that's a great time to, again, get on the calendar because it does get busy this time of year. We want to make sure that our providers have an available slot for your preference. Same thing with holiday lights, those seasonal lights that a lot of people like to have installed, their decorations. Absolutely, we can help you with that. We can have a professional company come out and they can guide you on what works well with your particular home, or if you already have an idea of how you want it to go, you just need the extra sets of hands to help install those. Our providers, our vendors can absolutely help you with setting those up and even removing them once the season is over, and then getting everything stored away for you. Holiday shopping, also a great time saver. If you have something that you would like to have a personal shopper to assist you with picking up gifts and then even gift wrapping, we have a company, as Kat mentioned earlier, one of our vendors is really great at being able to provide that support for you, and we can connect you so that we can find out what is your preference. Do you want to have gifts shopped for you? Do you want to have someone help you with shipping those gifts? Do you want to need help with gift wrapping? And that can be very time consuming, but based on your needs, we can get that pricing for you on how much it would cost to have those services done. And that'll be one less thing on your list for this season, saving you time and having the comfort and convenience of having someone else take care of it for you.
Thanks, Mikhail.
Absolutely.
So one of the other services, and this is like probably one of the most popular services, is move management. So I'm sure many of you have lived in your homes for quite some time, and the thought, it seems really daunting of what's going to be the next step, or even just downsizing and getting rid of items. It just seems like a lot. Well, the beauty of a move management service is that that is someone who helps you and actually oversees every aspect of your move. And they'll make sure that it's well organized and everything's on schedule. And of course, this kind of lists the services, probably the most popular ones: the downsizing, junk removal, organizing your home, getting it ready, show ready for sale, furniture assembly if you're going to move somewhere else and have somebody have new furniture delivered. I would say that probably 95% of the individuals who move into our communities hire some sort of move management service when they are moving out of their homes into our community. And the other 5% wish they had if they didn't, because it is incredibly stressful moving. Obviously, it's one of the major stressors. I think it's one of the top 5 major stressors in life. And so move management, I've used it. It really does take a lot of the stress out of the move and makes it a more enjoyable experience, and allows you to enjoy your new home, regardless of where you're moving: a life plan community, a condo, in with your kids into an apartment. It really takes a huge task and makes it a lot more, still stressful, but a little more stress-free. So let's talk about how Experience by Ingleside works. And I think we've kind of gone through this, especially with the video, but it's always good to repeat. So the first step would be an initial onboarding call with your concierge. And during this call, you're going to discuss what services you think you're going to want. The concierge is going to make sure that those services it's everything that you need, and that, there's nothing that maybe perhaps you've missed in the conversation. You're also going to select the delivery days or the delivery days you would like. And then that delivery schedule would be finalized through the concierge and the vendor. And so all that is sort of collected during your onboarding call. The concierge then will speak with the vendor, assist in scheduling your services, and she's going to coordinate, or he, could be he or she, will help coordinate day of logistics. All of this you're being looped in as well so that it matches the schedule you'd like. You're going to know pricing before anything is scheduled. So everything is agreed upon between you and your concierge. The best part, you then receive the services that you've requested. You're going to have a post follow-up call or an email exchange with your concierge to make sure after you've received the service that it was up to your satisfaction. And if there were adjustments that need to be made or any concerns, your concierge is the person who's talking with the vendor and making sure issues are rectified or if anything needs to be changed, for example, if you have reoccurring services such as housekeeping and the timing didn't work, they would be the one who could contact the vendor and figure that out for you. And then at the end of the month, you receive one consolidated bill, and the bill is going to provide a detailed breakdown of all of the services that you receive. So no more juggling with different payment methods or due dates. Everything is on one bill. And that, when I say consolidated bill, we have members who do one thing, they do housekeeping. We have members who do a slew of things. Some of those things are regularly scheduled. Some of those are as needed. I know Mikkel has stories of squirrels in an attic and someone's about to go on vacation and they call their concierge and they're like, I'm leaving tomorrow and there's squirrels in my attic. So, I mean, they can do really as little as much as you need, but that's going to all be on one consolidated bill so that you don't have to navigate multiple vendors, multiple payment methods and due dates. And then for those clients who are getting reoccurring services, so those are things such as pet sitting or housekeeping, you will have a check-in with your concierge as well, just to make sure that you are continually satisfied with services that you receive. If anything needs to be adjusted during the time you're using Experience by Ingleside. So why Experience by Ingleside? Well, I'm not going to read from this slide. I mean, I think there's a whole slew of reasons why a product like this is really beneficial to our members. I think, if I were to ask you, what if, right now, if you were to close your eyes and envision yourself doing something, I'm sure none of you would say, I'm on a toilet, I'm cleaning my toilet. I think you're all thinking, I want to be seeing my grandchildren. I want to be scheduling, or going on a vacation. And so a product like Experience by Ingleside is taking those mundane tasks away from you so you can focus on what you really want to do. And probably the main benefits that we hear from clients is that the vendors have been vetted, so they don't have to do that footwork. They've been background checked, they are insured, so it saves quite a bit of time for our clients, and they don't have to call through, the website, go on a listserv, figure out who to call. It makes it super easy to get a vendor who's already got a great reputation. And then that consolidated bill at the end of the month makes it so easy to pay bills versus trying to figure out when to pay different vendors because they all have different due dates and different ways they want to be paid. So just some questions that we have gotten through this 2-year journey with Experience by Ingleside. And we thought it'd be, just fun to share with you, because you may be thinking yourself right now as we're on today's call, I live in an apartment and condo. I don't live in a house, so I don't have all the maintenance issues that a homeowner would have. So what is a product like Experience by Ingleside? What is it going to do? Well, there's lots of services you've seen today that you can use through Experience by Ingleside that, is more than just home maintenance. And some of those are the pet care, personal shopping, Handyman services, it's actually another big one we haven't talked about on this call. But there's always something that breaks. And it may not be a major thing, but it's nice to have a handyman that you can call and have your concierge call and set up for you. And that happens in an apartment and a condo too. It's not just living in your home. And I think that like when we think about snow, and, who knows, maybe someday we'll get snow again. I know we do get snow. And, even if we get a trace to an inch of snow in DC, it's like the world shuts down. So it's like, why navigate that while you can have a personal shopper go to the grocery store for you? And you don't have to worry about, getting your food, getting toilet paper, such as that. So it really is more than just home maintenance. For a product like Experience by Ingleside. The other one hear quite a lot from people. I already have a housekeeper. I've had her for 30 years. I love her, him, part of the family. We're never getting rid of them, and you don't need to. Um, but housekeepers, people that do provide services daily that you've had for many years, they are people too, and they like to go on vacation, they get sick. And so having a backup plan to cover for those services while that beloved assistant that you've had for so many years is out, it's really beneficial. And one example I can give you is we have a member who was doing food delivery, but she had a housekeeper who was going out of town she was going out of the country actually to visit family. So she was going to be gone for multiple weeks in a row. And instead of foregoing her housekeeping and her laundry getting done, she was able to call her concierge and say, you know what? Can I add housekeeping temporarily to my services while, my current housekeeper is away? And so she was able to do that. And then when her existing housekeeper came back, she stopped those services and just did food delivery. So it's a really, I would say, a very flexible and easily changeable service depending on your needs. And then the other one is a lot of the members that we have are actually waitlist clients for our life plan communities. And because, of course, they already know Ingleside, so they learned about the service. And one of the things we do here is that, well, I'm going to be moving into a community or your community or any community. Maybe you have a wait list somewhere else. And I'm going to be moving in the next 6 months, 90 days, year. But I don't really want to like set up something with a new vendor because I'm going to be moving out of this house and it's not really that big of a deal. But again, having a product like this is hugely beneficial, even if you're moving out of your house. And one of those is the downsizing and the move management that we talked about. It is selling your home. As I said, it's stressful. Getting it ready for sale is stressful. Getting it market ready. There's a lot of things that you want to start doing with your house now to get it ready to go on sale even a year from now. And I know this because about a year ago, I bought a house and I had to get my previous home ready for market. And to have a real estate agent walk into my house, they see things that we don't see every day, like the front door or the lock jiggles or, it gets stuck where you're used to opening it and you know how to open it. But the last thing you want is a buyer coming in with a real estate agent and getting frustrated that they can't get your door open. Cracks in your driveway, um, dirty windows, things that you may not notice anymore because it's your beloved house and you've gone blind to them. But a real estate agent's going to come in and say, you need to get A, B, C, D, all these things fixed. So having a handyman that you can call just to get your house ready to sell is a huge benefit. And then the downsizing. So again, regardless if you're moving next month, you're moving 5 years from now, there's a lot of benefit to having someone you can call who can navigate all of this for you. So pricing, this is a big one, and we know that people want to know about pricing. So the thing about pricing is that it's not one size fits all. It really depends on the services that you're receiving and the frequency of those services. It even depends on the type of home you have. For example, with housekeeping, how many bathrooms you have, how many bedrooms you have. So, what we suggest is if you're just interested in learning more, talking with a concierge, finding out really what you're interested in, and then they can put a pricing package together for you. What is on here is really some of our most popular services and the average cost to those services. But again, meal delivery can fluctuate depending on if you're doing breakfast a couple times a week, if you're doing dinner every single day. It fluctuates depending on what your need is. So again, speaking with the concierge about the services that you're interested in, they can put a budget together for you. Now, if you're familiar with our life plan communities and you visited, or even if you visited other life plan communities, you probably know that when you move in, there's generally an entrance fee that you pay. It's a pretty sizable entrance fee. And then there's a monthly fee that covers your services and amenities. And these are most of the time, at least for our communities and a lot of the communities in the market, in the general market, they're dependent on the size of the apartment that you're interested in moving into. It is not that way with Experience by Ingleside. There is no membership fee to be, we call them members, but it's just a softer word than saying a client, I guess. We call them members of the program, but there is no membership fee to receive services through Experience by Ingleside. Where the fee comes is from a concierge charge. So you have your fee or the cost of the services that you pay for. Where the additional charge comes is through your concierge charge. That charge is 17.5% of the cost of the service up to $50. So if you did easy math, if you did something that was $100, the concierge cost is $17.50. But if you did move management, which could be thousands of dollars, the concierge cost is $50. So it's pretty black and white in that respect. But again, where it fluctuates a lot is the type of service you're requesting, the how often you're requesting it, the size of your home. And so that's why it's really good to have the conversation with the concierge so they can actually put the costs together for you and you can see it. And again, all of this would be done before you agree to have services come into your house. It, and do any service that you're requesting. And again, I mean, the true value of a product like Experience by Ingleside is having someone who's doing the work for you. It's freeing up time for you. Kat or Mikkel, anything I should be adding about the pricing piece?
You covered it well, Kristen, and it's absolutely true. The actual size of your home, the frequency of the service, how complex a repair may be, or just the nuances of your particular request will determine how much the cost is. But Kat and our team are there to determine the cost because you'll always know ahead of any scheduling or any booking of the actual service how much it would run. The only variance to that would be something like a grocery delivery where, the price of groceries, as everybody knows, has skyrocketed. So depending on where it's purchased from or how much, then that would be a variance there as well, just based on the product. And even with labor costs, as we've seen an increase in how much something is costing labor wise because of tariffs or wherever it's actually coming from, if it's a specialty part that maybe has to be ordered for a historically accurate home or anything along those lines, then of course the pricing would be different. But we would always find that out for you so you'd have that information and know when you're ready to move forward. Sometimes we have to get an estimate, more than one estimate for side-by-side comparison. If there's something you're wanting to have repaired, for instance, then there may be more than one quote so we can determine how much it's going to cost to actually have a mason come in and redo your front stairs if they need to be reinforced or in some cases completely done from scratch. Whatever the complexity of that service, we would find out for you so you can have the information, the estimated cost, and then if anything changes along the way, if the repairman discovers more work that needs to be done that maybe wasn't obvious when they first took a look, or once they get in there and discover that there may be something other than just an aesthetic or cosmetic repair, it could be more detailed or complex, then they let us know. You're well aware so that you're looped in every step of the way. Kat, anything in addition to that?
Yeah, just a reminder that the concierge fee would apply to each individual service. So if you did have handyman and home cleaning within the same month, that concierge fee would be calculated for both services,
Mhm.
up to $50 for either.
Yeah, great point.
Thanks. So how can I get started? Well, there's actually a number of ways. If you go onto our website, I mean, we have the phone number up here for you, as well as an email, that you can, both of those get you to, an Experience by Ingleside concierge. You can answer your questions. Our website as well is www.inglesideonline.org. This website actually talks about all services that Ingleside provides. It's life plan communities, Ingleside at Home, Ingleside Engaged, as well as our foundation. But up at the top of the banner, you will see it's kind of circled in red here. There is an Experience by Ingleside link that you can get into that shares more information as well, if you like to peruse the website for a bit. And then we have Q&A. Now, I have a sneaking feeling that maybe the way I said to ask questions didn't work. Oop, did I go the wrong way here? How did I get myself? Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can get to the questions. Well,
Looks like,
I'm having
yeah,
IT. I can't
I
get
can
up.
see it.
Oh, you can? Sorry,
Yeah.
I can't.
It says someone is asking, what's the cost range for housekeeping, for downsizing, for move management? So if I can answer that, just kind of touching on what we discussed in the previous slide, the cost range for each of those categories, housekeeping would depend on the size of your home. So if you live in, a townhome that maybe is 2 bed, 2 bath, but it also has a loft area or a patio, something else, sunroom that you want included, or if you have a 5 bedroom home and you have, 3, 4 bathrooms, however the size of your home and the frequency of when you want to have it cleaned, there is typically more expensive for the first cleaning. So the initial or first clean for any housekeeping is typically a little bit more because the companies will come in. Typically, they'll have more than one crew, so they may send in a crew of two sets of two to knock out the first cleaning so they can assess just what's involved. And then if it's a recurring cleaning, then the recurring price, if it's biweekly, if it's monthly, if it's quarterly, would typically be less than that initial deep clean once they've gotten it kind of, they're used to it and they know what they're up against with each cleaning. But we would again share that with you ahead based on the price or the size of your home and all of those things. Also, some companies, we have some members or clients who prefer to have only green products. So if that's the case, then the house cleaning may be a little bit more just based on whatever products you prefer or things like that that could affect the pricing. When it comes to downsizing or move management, again, based on your individual request, the size and complexity of what you're wanting to have downsized, it could be an entire attic that you want to have cataloged and things assessed for, value or anything like that. If you need to have something stored, if you want to have something sold at an estate sale, really it depends on what you need, what you want. We will help with our vendor partners, will help to put together that cost analysis for you so you can see exactly what it would be for your particular request. Same way with move management, the location, the distance of where you're moving from, where you're moving to, if you're going to need assistance with packing and unpacking, if you're going to need assistance with the day of logistics that may involve not just moving your items, but in some cases, we have clients who want to have a vehicle also moved in addition to their actual belongings. So based on your particular needs or preference, our team will help to get that exact pricing for you. I know that was a lot of words.
Yeah. So it sounds like the question is, where can I get a price list of these? And I
Yeah,
think the only thing is you probably could get, well, I don't want to answer for you guys, but it's not like you can get a price list, but it's specific to the needs of the individual who's at.
sure.
So I can tell you, I did a move management company, but I had them do everything. I had them pack up my home. I had them move my things to storage. It stayed in storage because I didn't want to sell my home and buy one. So I found somewhere else to live. It was all very stressful. Anyways, but they packed me up. They put me in storage. They then unpacked me. I had them not just move the boxes in, I had them literally unpack every box, put things away. To do something like that, and I only lived in a one-bedroom condo, that was like $5,000. But that's my specific request of what I wanted done. It's going to be different for everyone. That's why you can't put an actual price list to every single service because everybody's situation is completely different. And
Yeah.
that's why it's best to speak with the concierge, let them know what you're looking for. They can talk to the vendor and they can come back to you with the
Hmm.
pricing for the,
Yeah. And you're
yeah.
absolutely right, Kristen. And it's very important to make sure, like the next question is about typical downsizing per hour. Again, based on what it is that you need and what your particular request involves. Kat, do you have an idea of basically what our vendors are charging per hour? I know it can vary.
Yeah,
Just
it
there.
totally varies. I mean, for a big move, like if we went with a move management company like, Moyer or Town and Country, it's a little more pricey per hour. I don't know exactly, but I'm thinking it's going to be at least $100.
Yeah.
We do have smaller requests if someone is just doing the home organization, decluttering, spring cleaning. We do have a company that will help with home organization and they run about $50 an hour.
Yeah. And it just depends, like we said, if it's something based on your needs for somebody that's wanting to downsize from, a large home to maybe a smaller duplex condo, something that's easier to take care of, then depending on any work that they've done ahead of that. So if they already have their things packed, already, ready to go, then it's just a pickup and delivery. That's going to be significantly less than having someone, as Kristen mentioned, come in and do all the packing, sorting, unpacking for you. So we would have to assess based on your request what that would cost per hour. If any of our, and I will tell you when it comes to moving, most movers will include a certain time frame. So if that is, let's say it's 4 hours, 5 hours, that may be their starting base price. And then they would tell us per hour how much it would be thereafter and in what increments. If it's half hour, if it's 1 hour, depending on that particular vendor, we would of course let you know that. Are your prices negotiated for you? So that's the thing. We work with these companies and we try to negotiate the best possible price for each service, whatever that category is. The service cost with the service cost. So we can't negotiate down, like there's no markup for the service itself, but the actual concierge fee for us coordinating that for you, as Kristen mentioned earlier, that 17.5%, but it's capped at the $50, which is a tremendous savings to be able to help coordinate something as complex as a move or even downsizing for you as the client. So we're doing all that legwork for you to find those vetted companies. And then the pricing will be based on all of the things that we mentioned for your particular needs. We do get asked this question quite a bit about a list. We're not a referral service. So Experience by Ingleside is not set up like a referral service where we would just give you a list where then you have to decide among those vendors which one is the best for you. We've already done that vetting work for you. So that way we can help you with whatever actual task you're reaching out to us about, but just to kind of make that differentiator because we do get asked that question quite a bit.
Another question I get asked, how much time do people need to give you to call I mean, like, if I call tomorrow and I need housekeeping, I mean, how much time is usually do you need for services to be set up?
Great question. So the more lead time, the better. That's always kind of the rule of thumb. That when you know you need a service, then reach out to us, whether that's a last minute, if it is a last minute request, let's say you already had a house cleaner, you have company coming, but something happened, she had an emergency, they had an emergency and are no longer available. We will still try our best to help create a solution with our vendors that we've already vetted to help take care of that for you. But the more lead time we have for those requests, the better, because that helps us to then assure the availability for the actual vendor can actually line up with your preference of day and time. When it's a short notice, then we have to take whatever's available. So if you have a request for something, the more time we have to get that scheduled for you, the better. But if it is a last minute request that you have because something fell through, we'll do our best to still create a solution for you.
Okay. And then we did get a question about receiving either the presentation or the slides. Because you signed up with your email address, we can send everyone who attended, we can send you the slideshow. I am not 100% if we are recording this right now, but
We are.
Oh, we are. Okay. Okay. Because we have one from last month we could send you as well, but we can send you this recording within, it may happen tomorrow, but we'll make sure that the attendees who are on this presentation get a copy of the video, so you can watch it as many times as you like. Do we have any other questions before we? Oh, here's another one. Mika.
Oh, if you get it, yeah, is the concierge fee every month? They can just that. So every service, as Kat mentioned, with every service that you have coordinated, that fee would be attached. So if you have multiple services in a month, then that would be charged for each individual service. So for every time you have a service, if you have a month where you didn't have any services at all, then there's no charge. But if you have any services for pet services or home cleaning, house cleaning, or any transportation, anything like that, then each individual service would have that concierge fee. Otherwise, there is no membership or monthly fee.
Let's see.
Great questions.
Any other questions? Okay. All right. So we will, uh, well, first I want to thank everybody for attending today's presentation. And we will get the presentation out to all the attendees. Like I said, probably in the next, probably tomorrow or the day after that. In the meantime, I hope you all have a great fall and winter, and look forward to possibly meeting in the future. All right. And thank you, Mikkel and Kat, for